Hey guys, this is Mauisnake for another pro player analysis. Today I'm going to be going over Amanek, the French player playing for Misfits, the Sean Garrett-led lineup. Along with him and Devo Duvec, they form the international lineup, 2 French players, 3 Americans, and for the year, Amanek has posted a 1.13 HLTV 2.0 rating. He's about plus 500 for the year, but as I've stated in previous videos, some of these challenger teams have had definitely an easier road this year. Not necessarily to the major, but to get their stats. Amanek, for example, posted a lot of great ratings against kind of, I'd say, Tier 3, Tier 4 teams in a lot of qualifiers. Those can include Soar Gaming, Outlaws, Rogue, Red Reserve. A lot of these teams that definitely there's reason to respect these teams without a doubt. However, it's not the same as posting up a 1.25 rating when all you've played is professional major tournaments the entire year. So without further ado, we're going to be jumping into a demo against Liquid at the E-League America's Minor. So this was in the winter semifinals and was game 3 against Liquid. So here we go. So starting out on the pistol here. Alright. So it looks like he's going to be the B player, and Amanek posted the second best rating in this matchup. Twist actually got the best rating. However, I'm not going to be going over Twist right now. We are here for the Amanek. Okay, so starting the pistol round, he is set to play B. It's a pretty standard, I'd say 2-1-2 setup for Misfits there. And he's just going to be moving, really standard rotation. Most of his teammates took care of the rest of Liquid there. And I'm just going to be getting some pretty easy kills. So moving forward. He's going to be buying an ump with full utility, not a single person with, just one person with a kit on Misfits' lineup right now. And he's going to be helping Sean Garrett play this B-bomb side. And this looks like it's going to be a standard position. If this is your first time watching one of my pro player analysis videos, this is just every single round from a match that I found to be a good representation of the player in question's skill. So this is going to be every single round between Misfits and Liquid. It's pretty decently long game, as you can see from the YouTube time. But he's getting a little antsy. And I'm going to just be going over a lot of the movements he makes, the decisions he makes, what makes Amanek kind of different in respect to how he plays, be also determining what his role is, and just kind of pointing out a lot of the pieces. So, pretty nice 180 there to take out Stanislaw. Stanislaw actually found a dink on him, but Amanek was able to close it out. That is going to make it a little difficult to close this one out, though. So instead of playing around the window, notice that he's playing in market. This is kind of an interesting position. The best angles to cover the window are definitely on the lower slope, so closer to on the right side, more to CT spawn. But holding it from there kind of signals that he thinks he's going to have to come back to B, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. If he were to play the CT spawn, he would have to cross across the entire window, and that may endanger him when he has 4 HP. So little decisions like that help him keep him alive into this round. And he's just going to be playing around the bench position. With Sean in the side also, Amanek is able to find the ace, actually. That was really surprising, able to get a 4K with just 4 HP. And, yeah, just a little bit of a bait and switch there. It was supposed to be a bait and switch at least, but JDM, I think coming from window, trying to go for that flank there, was going to able to spot Sean and take him out. But yeah, really good round from him there. Not overextending at all, no, not over peeking, just really standard shoulder peeks though. Nothing too crazy in all honesty, but still pretty impressive and quick ace that was able to stop that Liquid potential force buy round from being successful. Something about Liquid's buying patterns is that what makes them, what would have actually won them that round is had they actually have bought armor on all of their players. A lot of those players had no armor and just bought a single pistol, just a little bit of utility too. But if they actually bought armor on that force fight, they would have probably won it, because Amanek would have not been able to kill them so swiftly. Now we're going to be doubling up with Sean towards Catwalk, and this is generally the way you want to play your anti-ecos. You want to stay together, stay grouped, don't let anyone just die for free too easily, and even if it's not the most favorable position for covering a specific angle, as he's watching the B apartments from get right position, he's actually, at least he's with his teammate, and they know that they can play off each other a little bit, and just makes their lives a little safer. Makes it a little harder for Liquid to just get one and get away. So now they're even doubled up towards ladder also. This kind of buddy system is proving not too interesting per se, but effective in the sense that Sean is able to kind of rely on Amanek if for any reason he were to be taken out. But not really that interesting a round from Amanek there. But we're going to be going into the first gun round, and I'm interested to see whether they decide to play the free round or they decide to upgrade. This is a pretty important game, mind you, because this is game 3 of a best of 3 between Liquid and Misfits. Winner of this moves on through the winner's bracket to play Sealed G, and the loser has to fight their way through the loser's bracket to try to make it all the way to the major qualifier at the time. So we're seeing a pretty interesting setup coming up from Misfits here. This is a pretty good idea from Sean. The only upgraded gun is the Op right now. I'm pretty sure the FAMAS that Sick is holding was from a previous round. And in putting the single Op there, you'd hope that he's able to find a few kills, hold them off, and the other 3 guys with worse weaponry are able to hold the A-bomb site. So this is just a pretty nice setup, nice strategy coming out from Sean. He does call a lot of these setups. He does put in a lot into his anti-strats as well. It's very likely that he has watched Liquid demos and knows what their tendencies are on those first gun rounds, on those first anti-ecos, on those first force buys, whatever it is, whatever it may be. Sean is well aware. So notice that they're holding really fast on this A-bomb site. Amanek is peeking for a little bit of information, but with this information now, he can definitely determine for his team, he didn't even look underpass, that it's pretty likely to be just a side explosion. I'm surprised by now he hasn't been alerted to the fact that Liquid are coming out of A, but notice how he just walks here. Even though the bomb is down towards A ramp, a lot of players would be running, just sprinting to try to get to the bomb, try to help out. But in a 1v4 situation, there's no reason to overexert yourself. There's no reason to run out. He's just taking his sweet time and knows that by concealing his position, he's in a better position to potentially win the round. And having concealed it for as long as he did, Stanislaw had no idea where he was. Stanislaw was kind of forced to plant there, knowing that Sean was in CT spawn anyways. But if he were to have made any kind of noise, Stan would have had better crosshair placement, would have probably known Amanek's position, but Amanek played it cool, calm, and collected throughout the rest of the round. I only got 1 kill there, but the last kill in the round is always... it's usually... it's not always. It's frequently the most impactful kill. In a clutch situation, it's the most impactful kill. Let's just say that. Okay, so I think Liquid are taking a pause here. I'm going to fast forward through that. And back to his normal spot at B. And they should know that it's an anti-eco, so you're going to see their standard anti-eco setup. The smoke that deep is... not really sure if I'm a fan of it. I guess it can give him and Sean some positioning towards B apps. However, again, on an anti-eco, you don't always want to be towards B apps, given that you're going to be against pistols. The one advantage of being there, though, is that a lot of rounds, the pistols will run out B with only a flashbang that's flying over. And if that were to happen here, Sean, for example, would not be flashed playing inside the B apartments, but Amanek would be. So if they were both in B apps, per se, then Amanek would not be at risk to be flashed. So yeah, just playing together. Notice just how well that works out, even though on top of Van, not the normally best position you would think of to be holding B-Apps, he's still able to find a 2K. He's able to bait out Sean Karras' positioning. Sean gets dinked early in the round, or early in that push, and Amanek is able to just clean it all up. Nice little spray on the little spam spot right there. And I think they're aware of the bomb's positioning, And that should just, I mean, that should really close the round out for them. Shouldn't be all too hard. Amanek with a little more spray. And I'm just going to waste all of his bullets. Doesn't Amanek know there are people in France that could use those bullets? So actually going to be going for some mid control here. This is another good call, I'd say, from Sean. Looking for this kind of control early in the round. When the last gun round from Liquid, which was kind of an A explosion, didn't pan out, it's more likely that they're going to be going for mid control. This is just great CT calling coming out from Sean. It's not really that complex either. It's just really basic stuff. And jiggling mid, he's able to actually get away. And the decision to not have his gun out was pretty interesting there. I think he was hoping that the T's would run across into the top boxes, but instead he gets peeked, gets taken down to half health, and yeah, just gonna play from what seems to be his probably favorite position, the bench. He really seems to like this spot. It's actually, I don't actually think it's, if you can play around it well, it's a great spot. However, if T's have an op or even AKs at this point, 48 health is not a lot of health to be playing around this position with. It's very easy for an AK. I think 3 shots from an AK would kill you. It's a pretty thin wall, so three shots given his 48 health. They do about, I'd say, like 1/3 damage through this thing. So this is kind of a weird round from Liquid here. They're faking a B hit, but Stanislaw made a bunch of noise running away. I think Misfits should be rotating any second now, and the A pinch is incoming. Amanek is taking a really long time to rotate here, and that seems to be just kind of one of his more characteristic kind of movements here, is that he doesn't really, even if he sees the bomb sometimes, he really takes his time with rotating. He might have presumed that there was a lurk coming through B apps there, given that there was that smoke being thrown. And now they're just going to go for a retake here. Pretty simple flash to get out. Amanek clearing most of the angles as Sick is holding for him. Let's see what position he's holding. He's probably holding ramp. And but that plant spot is just a little too good, and I don't really see Misfits able to come away with this one. That plant spot just gives them too many options, and then not rotating fast enough might have hurt him a lot there. Also, he could have optioned to rotate through Cat, but if the team's procedures are more set coming from CT, that might just be what they've gone through, but might just be what they're more comfortable with, I'd say. Now we're actually seeing him pick up the op, so he's just on the 6th round, or this is the 7th now. He already picks up an op, showing that he is a hybrid for this team. If they think another op would help them, Amanek is not shy to pick it up. In fact, I've actually seen, I think, everyone on this team pick up the op at some point or another. I'm not sure about Devo Devek, whether he has, but I'm not quite sure. But Amanek just posting up on a pretty normal angle towards B apartments, and Sean, see how his teammate is interacting with him, is playing more towards Cat. So now, this is not really them playing together per se, but they're both playing angles that they're comfortable with. Sean knows that apartments is covered, and doesn't have to worry about it, and Amanek just still holding the spot. Pretty static player, all things considered so far. Even when he went mid, he went back to a very static position after that aggressive play. So Amanek is kind of showing his colors already in how he likes to approach the game. Doesn't really move around too much, just comfortable with the spot. Why not stay there? So another pretty tough retake. Let's see if he smokes a ramp. That should do the trick. And using a lot of his other utility towards other angles. Now Nitro makes the smart decision to rotate to Palace, and Amanek's going to get taken out, trying to peek into connector there. So these liquid post plants have been pretty hard on Amanek and the Misfits crew. Let's see if they try to anything differently. They try to make any kind of adjustments later into this game. I could strongly suspect that on later post plants he might be rotating through Cat, or maybe perhaps rotating faster. So far their normal retake procedure has not been all that effective, and yeah, just find it pretty unlikely that they're going to just keep falling into the same trap of rotating through CT spawn. So with nothing but a Deagle, looking for that pick, Shazam's able to find kill on triple, and now Amanek kind of making noise to try to bait out JDM a little bit. No kit, though, is going to make this pretty difficult on them. And Amanek chooses the angle that JDM was probably looking at. I'm not sure if he hit the flick or not, but that's going to do it for him in this round. And it looks like Shazam was actually able to clutch it out. So they're just kind of waiting for Shazam to make all the action happen. Nothing really all too special. And see what position he decides to go to. Yeah, seems to like the bench position a lot. Just going to keep playing around here. This kind of reminds me of a lot of not that I think Amanek is really skilled. I think the French additions to this Misfits team are pretty well warranted, and they've paid off for them pretty well. I'd say a lot of their best performances have come from these French players. Shazam is actually the highest rated on the team, but if he's saving the op a lot, that's going to inflate his HLTV rating quite a bit. And again, chooses to rotate through CT. Just kind of goes about his normal routes, and that's kind of what you get a lot of the time from... I'm not gonna... Okay. We'll focus on this round first. But, yeah, throws a single flashbang, and unlucky for him, Sean is actually taken out by Nitro. And Nitro still thinks that Amanek is towards CT, but Amanek changing his position here is probably going to catch Nitro off guard, and it does. And he's able to get the kit, and even gets a Molotov as well. And he picks up an because he probably thought that was an AK. But back to the point I was trying to make earlier, a lot of players at lower level teams, not that Misfits is even that low of a level team, will not change up their spots all too much. They're going to end up finding themselves in the same ruts, same routes, same positions, round in, round out. And that's going to hurt their just ceiling as a player, because once they are out of their comfortable positions, that it's less likely for them to be as successful as they would if they play their comfortable position. However, if the other team is aware of the position that they like to use, they're more likely to key in on it, know that he likes to play that spot. Like, he's played bench 3 times now. Liquid have only seen him, I think, in one of those rounds, though. So, but if anyone were to anti-strat Misfits, for example, they would know Amanek really likes that bench position. And any kind of flashes that would flash him would be super effective on any kind of execute that you use. So, it's been kind of the Achilles heel of a lot of players as they move up to the higher levels, that once a pro team knows you like to play a certain position, they really can abuse you, no matter how good you really are. And having versatility and switching up your spots can add a lot to your value as a player and help your team elevate their CT sides, even T sides too. Going to be a mid play here for Liquid. I'm not exactly sure why they're doing this, given that it's an anti-eco. Perhaps they thought, yeah, they thought Liquid could have bought here, so it makes sense still. And Amanek's just going to be sticking with the op that he picked up from the previous round and just be holding B solo. So the way he's playing this kind of indicates that Misfits want to play a B retake setup more so, because from this position, you're not going to be getting more than, I'd say you could get 2 kills on a really good round, but frequently, if they smoke that window, there's nothing you can even do. And a lot of players and teams like to smoke the window, knowing how powerful it is to play around that right side pillar or even the market position that Amanek's playing in. So, moving to help out his teammate here, just gets a single frag, and yeah, not seeing all too much crazy stuff coming out from Amanek. I think we're finding out that he's a static player, that he also in late round situations does like to change his positioning, doesn't just repeat from the same angle, and that has been kind of a hallmark of Misfits, is that they seem to actually be better at clutching than a lot of teams at their level, in their kind of qualifiers, in their, I'd say, tournaments that they even play in. They can make deeper runs due to the fact that they kind of win out clutches, and that's kind of what usually elevates teams at even the highest level as well. Their ability to clutch out rounds, their ability to play together in late round situations really well. When the plan doesn't go accordingly, just the ability to adapt, you know. So, given that he has to watch Cat and B apartments, he actually moves out onto the bomb site. Sean getting taken out early in the round makes Amanek play a little bit out of his comfort zone, but he still actually decides to play watching just the window here. And I mean, we'll see how much he can get, because it does look like Liquid is priming and getting ready for a B hit. Slowly, Stanislaw is falling off of A. They're just leaving Nitro to lurk at top mid, but this definitely looks like it's going to be a B hit of sorts. So we're finally going to see him in action, perhaps. And it looks like it's actually going to just be a flat-out B hit split, as Nitro and Stanislaw are both going to go up cat, or at least take mid presence. You know, with this much time left, the only really plays for Liquid are to go underpass to connector or to go at B. So Amanek is here and waiting. Sick, though, is playing on the site. Let's see what Sick's position is in addition to this. So he's just playing behind the pillar, so he's probably playing more off Amanek's contact, but JDM does what JDM does best. He follows up kills. Follows up entries, he follows up kills, he just holds the static angles, and Amanek just playing that position. The only really thing you can do when you're playing that position, you can't really fall back to another angle all too effectively and still have impact in the round. He's simply stuck in that position, and he just decides to re-peek, and JDM wisely posts up on his angle. So that shows you kind of just how, if there's any kind of just dialogue between just like the Liquid analysts or the anti-stratter and JDM. JDM knows that he can just repost up on that kind of angle. Knowing that might have been instinctual as well, though. Just knowing that if there's an offer in market, he probably has to repeat to try to get this round. So that is another reason why JDM could have done this. And Amanek playing again his favorite position, the bench spot, and he's gonna play this pretty slowly, and that's just a few too many whiffs. And Stanislaw takes care of him right there. So, looks like a bit of a shift here. They're gonna put Shazam towards B. This is one of the few positions it seems like Shazam likes to take, in addition to, I guess, middle, where they post up Shazam towards B, and then they can run a 3A or a 2-2-1 or a 3-1-1 kind of setup. So Amanek is going to be... This is a little strange, actually. So he's going to be watching the window from market, and he seems to prefer watching the window from market. Not sure why he doesn't elect to do it from spawn sometimes, but given the information that Liquid has given Misfits, he knows that this is a better rotational spot to help out B. Now as the last defender for B, he's going to take a shot from door, and then go for some shots on ELEAGUE, and that should have been actually a kill, in my opinion. So even with whiffing kind of as much as Amanek has this game, he still has a pretty good score line. The anti-eco ace definitely helped his case, and still otherwise getting kills. And he just seems to be a pretty standard, solid player thus far. I'm trying to think. He's not really doing anything all too unusual in any positions. I think the most unusual thing is that he likes to watch window from market so that he can help out B quicker. That's not always the position that a lot of people choose, but he still just likes playing bench a lot. It seems really standard for him. And I think Sean just knows that Liquid do like to go B a lot. A lot of teams like to go B on anti-ecos. If you just get an SMG or a rifle just kind of entering, it's not too hard to trade out kills on this bomb site, just with a little utility to aid it as well. Just molly out the van position and the balcony position, and then just run everyone to the site. You can do a pretty clean sweep of the bomb site. You just run along the side of it, especially with this cat presence. So Liquid again running into this B stack, and that's going to do it for them as they decide to hightail it out of there. Amanek playing his deal around bench pretty well, all things considered. He's not over aggressing, he's not really trying to take the fight to them. He knows that by staying alive and them trying to push into him, that if he gets that first contact and stays alive, he can just wait for his teammates' contact next. So despite not getting a kill there, I think he played that incredibly well, and that's something you can take note of, that He's just, I mean, just not overcommitting to the fight, not taking more than one deagle shot from any one angle. He'll take one deagle shot strafe, and you don't know if he's going to peek on the left side or the right side. So those little things can go a long way and actually helped his team get kills as they ran to the bomb site. But things that don't show up on the scoreboard, but are very effective. And that's honestly just being a good teammate, even though it might feel like he's being a little selfish, not actually taking the duel, not being too afraid to die. Sometimes being afraid to die is the best thing to do in those kind of positions, as it was there. I don't think he was necessarily afraid. I think he knew exactly what he was doing too, though. So, going for apps control with Sean. Going to give them a lot of map control, a lot of information, but a little too late on that as his team was not fully set up and ready to capitalize by stacking the A-bomb site. So instead of rotating through CT, he finally is going to decide to rotate through connector, and him and Sean, though, with these positions, with no CT presence at all, it seems like this retake is nearly impossible, but let's see what he can try to make happen. It's the last round of the half. He's going to go for it even in this 1v5, and now that they're alerted to his position, they're just all eyes are on him, and he's not able to find anything there. Knows he has to just go for every kill he can at that point, and is unable to find anything. Glad he finally decided to rotate somewhere other than CT, but I think that might have been just due to the circumstance of him pushing up with Sean, and not as much on his own, out of his own volition, or really decision making. Oops, why did it go to sick again? That has happened twice now that it's gone to sick. Gonna be a late mid take coming out. So the nade set implies that I guess he's just faking. They're just faking, and they're running up. It's the trade, and I'd blame this round on Sick already. He wanted that USP so badly that he just ran into Stanislaw and made the situation really awkward for Amanek, thinking Amanek probably thinking that Sick would be covering that in some way. Just at least have his gun out. He was looking already towards another angle, and that's just not really how you should be approaching at that point in time. The way Sick went about it. So it's a fat Palace stack, Palace rush. ELEAGUE is going to be picking up 3k on that. Nothing too much to say there. Really typical round, just trying to explode out of Palace, but it's taken down. Looks like actually, oh, in the first round they were able to get the bomb down actually. So they're able to buy up here, and now we're going to see Amanek on what looks to be a really passive default for Misfits. I think so far from T side, what we can say about Amanek is that he's rarely, if ever, going to be the first in, just judging by the pistol and that eco round. But and he's going to be holding a ramp in this default. Just going to be a really simple A split, not even having mid presence here. Going to be out of Palace and ramp. So he's got one smoke, and we're going to see what, in a one smoke situation, Misfits decides to throw that towards. Could be middle site, could be CT, could be jungle. Let's see what the mind of Sean calls for. Sean being Sean Gares, not Francois. Okay, so they're just gonna keep this. It's just gonna be a contact play actually, and Sick's able to get a 2k. Amanek just, taking his sweet time with things. Not really going in first. That was definitely more on Sick and Shazam there to make contact, and that might have just been how the strat was designed, or the call was designed from Sean, and it's going to be playing a really passive firebox position. Just hanging out there a little too long. Not sure why he doesn't decide to move earlier and instead just tries to take the peek. That's not exactly, I think, how most people would play that out. I think most people try to move to default pretty quickly. Knowing that CT is under control, I don't think there's any reason for him to not do that. But he thought he could hit the shot. He thought he could get the quick kill, and then maybe the molly would burn him after. But it didn't work out for him that way. However, his team's still able to close it out. And he's going to be moving towards B this round. Most of these Misfit rounds so far actually haven't felt like defaults. They felt like there's been a play strictly in mind for the start of the round. This being a B kind of split, of course, with two guys holding top mid, Sick and Shazam, and then Sean and Amanek are moving towards B. And now Deva Devek is kind of making his way through Palace. I'm not really exactly sure why that's happening. Just getting a little bit of information, making sure no one's there too early in the round to get too much information, too much control. And I'm just going to be holding underpass here, though. Pretty passive stuff coming out from him. So Misfits do take their time in these rounds. They really wait for the right circumstance before attacking. So just going to be holding here. This is one of the slower people I've actually watched thus far in these demos. Or these analyses. A lot of times players will be a little more just move a little more, be a little more dynamic, but Amanek, he does what he does it well, and he finds the kill on a liege there. And now they have mid control, and I think this was a definitely some kind of mid round kind of adjustment coming out from Sean. It definitely seemed like it was going to be a normal B split, but I think with the information Devo was able to give the team that no one pushed A, they thought that they could get something here. So, just kind of lurks towards mid later in the round, is able to find a couple eco frags, but it's taken out. All in all, nothing too crazy so far coming out from this guy. It's flashed underpass. This actually might be Misfits default. This actually seems it's not as fast paced as a lot of teams and not as eccentric as a lot of teams would put players towards, but yeah, this actually might be their default. Sean and Amanek towards B apps, and actually seems to be like potentially a B explosion here, as Amanek is now creeping towards as well. I'm not sure. Sean had a pretty awkward encounter with Stanislaw there. I wonder if he could actually shoot his head right. Yeah, I think he could. He just can't see through the smoke well enough. So now just waiting for his team. This is kind of odd that they being Misfits play this slowly and without map control. But Amanek is definitely a dedicated second or third guy in. Sick was clearly the entry there. Even Sean is more aggressive in the default than Amanek is. And I think that's just Sean playing off of his teammates. Sean, I don't think Sean back in when he was with Cloud9 was as aggressive in defaults, but I think he knows Amanek is not going to be a playmaking kind of guy thus far, but he's just going to do what he does in the late round effectively. And so that's going to be the round. And again, nothing really too crazy from Amanek there. That round was all Sick, just running into the bomb site, getting a 3K actually. Totally impressive stuff from him. But Amanek again, just going to be playing slowly and steadily. A lot's on the line here. So you're actually going to see the true colors of a lot of these players come out, and as we can see, Sick in these games can be pretty aggressive and effective at that. Might be a player I'd like to look at in the future. But Amanek here, just slowly and steadily. Slowly and steadily is the name of the game. So another default again coming out from Misfits. Nothing too crazy. Again, this is, to be honest, kind of stale. It's it seems like this guy doesn't do much. That just doesn't do all that much. That's just out of the ordinary. Just kind of knows his role, knows how to play within himself, and doesn't have to change it too much. Just notice the angle that Amanek is choosing to take there. To watch underpass, he's not pushing, he's not angling, he's angling himself in such a way that the geometry is pretty 50-50, and anyone approaching he could have an advantage on, or pretty 50-50, but having the AK is advantageous in that sense, because if anyone walks up and they walk into his crosshair, he's going to just take their head right off. So, bottom connector smoke, and this is, okay, so Amanek's actually going to be making some kind of play here. He's going to sit in this connector smoke, and this should draw whoever is playing connector towards A little bit, but really quick shot there, really good movement as well. He's able to jump up right there, and that's, okay, that's pretty impressive. He's just going to wait for the play to develop a little bit. Devo has to really do something here to get that bomb and to get onto the bomb site. Amanek should attempt to try to help him, but it looks like they might actually just concede this round entirely. There's no way with this much time left that he's going to accomplish this. So that's when just kind of trying to let things develop around you. Just kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's clearly not effective. That was just way too slow, and just no one really doing anything there. Devo was stuck in Palace. He was being held by 2 guys, so that was really on Amanek to try to make a play there. However, he really just didn't make any kind of moves whatsoever. And yeah, this guy's patience and desire to let the play come to him really kind of just backfiring there, as they aren't able to accomplish anything. You know, Six going to be the first out here, and Amanek's going to be second. Some good snappy aim coming out from Amanek, though, as he's able to get that trade and get the pick on ELEAGUE as well. And that's just going to pretty much put the round all in Misfits' favor. 2v4 just doesn't seem likely for anything to really come out of this for Liquid. And yeah, just going to play another passive spot as this round develops even further. I think they're just going to run away from this, so that's probably the round. So a good trade coming out from Amanek there, and a just solid second kill as well. I think he really botched that smoke right there. I'm not sure what that's supposed to do. And they're going to be going for some more standard looking mid control. So Amanek seems to be the guy that kind of on rounds is not necessarily the lurk, but is kind of in second groups a lot of the time and can lead to him being the lurker. As it is here, he's just lurking towards mid. I think they figured Liquid were going to go for an eco kind of round, but instead they buy up. Everyone bought head armor there, and I think that's supposed to be somewhat of a surprise buy. So he's able to find the AK, and not really. Okay, he gets 1 kill on Get Right, and now he's just kind of watching the flank. Now I know where the final member is of Liquid. Stanislaw probably is going to end up having to save this. I think his position is a little too compromised at this point. And let's see if this actually goes through anything. Okay, that does not do anything at all. Not sure why he does that. I think he just thought Stan was saving, actually. Shooting a lot of spam through the wall there. I think that, yeah, that goes through. That for sure goes through. But the first spray was just, I think he kind of just took himself out of the round there mentally. Just thought that Stan was definitely going to save. So, on that round, again, I mean, he kind of just lurked. He went mid for a while. His teammates waited for him to get into the B-bomb site with him. They didn't overextend or anything. They just kind of held their spots, and waiting for Amanek there actually really helped them out, as he was able to take out a player at Get Right, and he was actually able to spot the last member, not moving too quickly. But I think B is his normal default position as he moves out. And finally, running out first. So he runs out first on the anti-ecos so far, and has been the last out on every gun round. That kind of says something. I'm not gonna... I mean, they're playing to absolutely win, for sure. And so he might have been on like more of a scouting mission there, just getting some recon and trying to find out what's going on at the B bomb site. But a little strange that he decides to just kind of jump out there. No real flashbangs, not really. I mean, he used his own utility, but no teammates to really help him out there. It's kind of a just interesting decision making, I'd say. Now playing very passively yet again. Just letting the round develop around him. And that's kind of what the story of Amanek has been. He lets a lot of the round develop around him, and he just kind of holds the spots he likes the most, and at the end of the day, he's pretty good at playing them, and he has pretty good aim as well, and decent mechanical skill, and that can get him pretty far, I guess. Just doing, mostly it seems like what he's told, nothing too innovative or that interesting. Just following Sean again, letting Sean entry. So he's kind of like a second pack entry, or a second pack, second guy kind of guy. Which is not... Which isn't particularly a bad thing. Someone has to be that guy. And Misfits have these designated roles for spots, for routes. And, but not one of the more glamorous roles, at least. It can get you nice stats, but you're not really much of a hero in a lot of rounds unless you're clutching them out. And not really letting anything... You're not really developing the round yourself. He's more so just letting all the plays go around him and kind of playing the boring Counter-Strike. I mean, someone needs to do it. And it's surprising that he puts up good ratings while doing this, though, actually. Second in is always going to inflate your rating a little bit. However, your great flash. Okay, that's one of the best team just flash assists that I've seen so far for this guy. Finally a set flash. Good utility usage overall. Actually got a smoke in, got all of his nades out very well here, as you can see. This molly, I think, landed around. Actually, I'm not sure where it landed anymore. But the smoke was perfectly lined up, and the flash was perfect as well. So pretty much just a support player. I guess that's the general categorization for Amanek. And on the last round here, our Twist and JD, I'm going to do this. No utility. Amanek definitely overextending himself there, kind of engaging in that duel. Definitely when it didn't need to be done. And that just gives Liquid an entry to the round that they really should not have had. So that was actually pretty poor play. It's going to be an exec with pistols. A little bit of a force buy here with a few nades. And some, a couple kits. Yeah, just being a support player, just throwing all the nades that he needs to throw, throwing a Molotov or sandwich. And they're actually going to get onto the bomb site. And oddly enough, they get it down without even being contested. That is a great smoke for this post plant, all things considered. I don't know if that was in the playbook or what, but okay, that's a great kill also. That's a really nifty boost, and are they actually gonna okay, so he gets taken down. That should be the round right there. But some pretty good stuff coming out from Amanek there. Pretty interesting eco. Being a support player, they decided to funnel everyone into CT, which might not be the wisest decision sometimes, but because once you even get control of it, it's very easy to isolate just any kind of fight after that. And despite a nice boost, a cheeky little boost, and over that smoke there, they are not able to close the round out, but getting the bomb down, getting that extra utility with Sean as IGL, there's a lot that can be done with this. I mean, Sean has some pretty good plays. He has some actually really good strategies. My opinion, probably top 2 NA IGLs. If he played better, I'd say he's definitely top 1. If he were himself a better player, he would be the #1 IGL, I'd say, in North America. And a lot of stuff he calls isn't all that crazy, but he puts in the research and he puts in the time. Going to be another exec coming out from Misfits here. Just think that, hey, if we were able to do that with pistols, why not do it with guns? And looks like it's going to actually get them into the bomb site here, as Twist is not going to be playing inside, but is going to be playing towards CT. That smoke is very detrimental to their chances of winning this. And that might just be a little too much for them to recover from. That plant spot though, yeah, okay, that's what I like to. So Devo Devek is actually going for a massive play here. So what Amanek should be trying to do with his teammates is just stay alive. He shouldn't be taking too many duels, but gets mollied out of his spot. And I actually want to see how, if Devo is able to do with this, but nope, not able to close it out. Okay. So back to Amanek and back to the default. Actually, not really might be faking kind of a default here, as Amanek is going to be going towards his normal default position, but the rest of Misfits is going to be towards A. And yeah, this is kind of where Sean's creativity really comes into play. I'm not really sure exactly what he hopes Amanek to accomplish here, and that's what I think the CTs would, they just wouldn't be able to really tell either. They threw a fake A exec with decoys, actually, and that actually got Twist to use all of his grenades. They actually just did a decoy exec, and we're watching Amanek here just doing a lurk play. Okay, so he's actually committing to the hard lurk here, as Misfits threw a fake exec with decoys, stolen. I mean, the first time I saw this was at, I think, a Chinese tournament earlier in the year, and now Misfits are gonna do it as they leave Amanek in this underpass position. He mollies himself away and just throwing all these nades just to stay alive. I'm not sure if he knows that he doesn't need to do this, but okay, so that's a really interesting way to use all of his utility there, as he now plays super clutch position. That's gonna do it for them. So that's Amanek for you guys. So okay, let's do a summary of his CT side and T side here. So Amanek, CT player, pretty static overall, does just kind of the right things a lot of the time, doesn't really take matters into his own hands very much. In late round situations, he can be more creative. I think that's where he shines the most, when he decides, like, his timings in late rounds seem pretty good. He hits nice snappy shots so that if anyone peeks an angle that he might not have been watching, he can still potentially win the duel, even if his crosshair placement wasn't perfect. And on T side, he plays kind of a lurk role or second man in on a split role. Second man on the second split. That kind of means when people are going, if you were splitting, just a really easy example, if 3 people are going long A on Dust 2 and 2 people are going up Cat, he would probably be the second guy going up Cat. So that kind of, that's kind of like the 4 position, I would say. The 5 position would be the third guy out long A. But yeah, kind of playing the 4 position in a lot of these settings, and not all too creative, not all too interesting. It looks like Sean really has a plan for Amanek in most rounds, and Amanek just follows that to a T, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, and he does it really well. He's able to do it against Liquid, he's able to go positive, he's able to have incredible, I mean, just great impact overall. Had the second best rating of this whole game, and yeah, that should pretty much do it. So predictions, though, for Misfits and their team in the upcoming major. I'm going to start doing these for every team just to make it a little more interesting. I don't think... I'd say in the challenger stage, I think Misfits has a chance to go 3-2, but I'd say it's very likely that they're one of the 2 and 3 teams. I think they could definitely beat a lot of these teams in this qualifier. However, I don't think they're in the top 8. I think there are 8 teams that are better than them. So alright, that's going to do it for this pro player analysis. Hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to be putting these out just rapid fire. So stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that normal stuff. And yeah, that's going to do it for me. Thanks for stopping by.